Hey everybody, back again with some more games I beat for June, July 2022. A lot of NES stuff this month, shorter games I could get through that I never played. One that I was very pleasantly surprised with, and we'll start off with that one. That is Wizards and Warriors on the NES. 1987, rare developed, claim published. The only Wizards and Warriors game I played before was Iron Sword on the second one on the NES back when I was, 11, 12, 13, something like that. I remember it being very difficult because you had limited continues. Much like a lot of games, limited continues kind of limit your ability to beat it unless you play it over and over again. This one I was very pleasantly surprised with. Unlimited continues, it's very fun. You start off like right where you died. There's hidden items. The jumping is still kind of that Wizards and Warriors kind of jank where you kind of leap in the air and you have this like really bad weapon, and it sounds like I don't like it, but it's very fun. The music's great. The exploration and finding items, which you don't have to keep all the items you find. You can have like one special that you can like switch between, and like you can keep a cloak, or you can keep another item, but you can't keep them both. And you get like daggers that you can throw and an axe you can throw, I believe. And they're all hidden throughout the levels that you need keys to open. So you're finally constantly looking, exploring these levels, getting keys to unlock treasures and keep. There's some I looked that I did not even find treasures my first playthrough. I was very pleasantly surprised with this. It's not brutally difficult. The difficult part is finding out where to go. And then you fight a boss, and then you rescue a maiden, a princess, and then you do that, I think, 5 times. And then you see the cover art's kind of cool. And yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised with this game. Yeah, Wizards and Warriors. If you can try it out, there's a sequel, Iron Sword, and there's a third one which I never played. But I think this one is probably the one out of the 2 I played, the one I like the most. I have to give Iron Sword more of a better try, but yeah, the music is great. Rare developed NES game. They did a lot, and there's like a tune that plays when your health is low. You'll be hearing it a lot. Stuff constantly comes at you, so it's almost like playing like a shooter, but you can't really dodge because you're so big, your hitbox. It sounds like I don't like it, but it's pretty fun. Wizards and Warriors. Next up, we did a light gun game, and this game take me a while to beat. It's short. You play with the NES Zapper, and that's Sunsoft, one of Sunsoft's earlier developed games. I think this, and then they had Cybernoid, Cybernate, or something like that. Or I'm thinking of another game. I think this one of Sunsoft's early NES games. This is Freedom Force, and it's a Zapper game, as you can see, light gun game there at the bottom. Basically, you play as like a team of anti-terrorist groups, and you have to shoot all the terrorists and don't shoot the hostages. Sometimes they're like, a hostage will pop out and you can't shoot them. It starts off on a plane that's taken over by terrorists, and then you move on to like the streets. It's a very short game, but by the final level, like its enemies are coming out all over the place, and you really have to be on your game and zap them. It took me quite a few tries to get through it, but I did do it on stream. And it was quite fun. Short game, but fun. And then it loops after that, and I think I played through the next loop, and the enemies get faster and it gets harder. It's nothing special, but as far as light gun games go, it's up there with one of the better ones on the NES that I've played. And that's Freedom Force on the NES. And just zoom in on the awesome looking cover there. Got a guy who looks like Rutger Hauer from The Hitchhiker, or no, Blind Fury. That's what he is. He has like a magnum. He used to have some '80s girl, and you got the Zapper. Very good, good game there. Early Sunsoft release on the NES. Now we got a Capcom Disney game. One of the few I have not beaten on the NES, and one I didn't play much. I think I fired it off on an emulator in the early 2000s, and that's Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. Apparently it takes place in the Magic Kingdom in Disney World. I've never been to Disney World. I don't know what that is. I guess it's a castle theme park. But apparently you go around, according, all I know is from this game, you go around and there's different like rides you could go, and they're different like mini games almost. There's like a haunted house with like, you play as a guy in a cowboy hat, and you shoot like candles, and there's like a racing game, like a roller coaster ride, and there's like a spaceship shooter, not shooter, but kind of like on rails, like directional kind of view in Space Mountain, I guess it is. And it's very short. You go to these areas and you get certain MacGuffins, and then keys, I think they are, and then Goofy will let you through. I think see, this is all. It's been a while since I played this, like last summer, so it's all blending in my head. But not my favorite Disney game. I mean, I think there's better ones on the NES than this. It's probably down on my list, but it's decent. But the cover art, I always like it kind of, I guess the cover art kind of portrays the game, but as a kid I didn't know about Disney. I didn't watch Disney until DuckTales and all that stuff, because I didn't have Disney Channel. My friend's sister liked Little Mermaid, and I think I watched that, but I didn't know much about Disney. So the cover art always turned me off. Like, it's a castle, like, is this Castlevania? But there's like fireworks going off, but it wasn't until later I found out it was like Magic Kingdom was like a Disney World land or something like that. But yeah, it's okay, and I have the manual here. We can take a quick look through. I always like to get the manuals. When I have a game with a manual, I always like to read it before I play the game. Chippendale, they're talking about coming through. You got Chippendale Rescue Rangers, the first Disney game I ever played. Me and my sister played through this a few years ago. She used to play it with me as a kid. One of the few games she played. DuckTales is coming out. You can see there. Message from Capcom. Thank you for selecting the exciting and fun-filled Adventures in the Magic Kingdom. This is the latest edition of Capcom Library of Disney titles, following such as Mickey Mouse Capades, which we talked about last video, DuckTales, and Rescue Rangers. Adventures in the Magic Kingdom continues the tradition of action-packed, family-oriented games for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Adventures in the Magic Kingdom features colorful, state-of-the-art, high-resolution graphics. We at Capcom are proud to bring you this thrilling new adventure to your video game library. Safety precautions, getting started. Got some cool, like, little Disney, if you guys, and Donald there. Controlling the character, the haunted house, Pirates of the Caribbean. That was another one I was thinking of. Pirates of the Caribbean. Caribbean. I Carablotin. Big Thunder Mountain. That was I was thinking of. You race like a roller coaster. You gotta pick the right way. Autotopia. Peg Leg Pete Challenge. Oh, an auto race. Yeah, there's a like racing one. Space Mountain. And then you got there's some enemies: Tombstone Ghoul, Dancing Ghost, Screaming Zombies, Master Spectre. I think my favorite level was the haunted house one, because you had a weapon and you could shoot. It was like a traditional platformer. And that's it for that. I think with that I might have beat all the Disney games on NES. Unless I'm forgetting one. DuckTales. And they've all been good. I've liked them all. That one's probably my least favorite. But next we have Gun.Smoke, a shooter. And I talked about last video in games I beat. I talked about Pocky and Rocky. This is another shooter. This one I played on stream, and there was a gentleman who was kind enough to tell me how to basically play it and what you got to do. And once I found out through his help, a very fun game. So basically you go through and you have to get money to buy a wanted poster, and the boss won't show up until you get that wanted poster. So until you get it, the level just keeps looping. And you can go to certain like characters, like NPCs, and they give you like weapons, and you can buy like a shotgun, which like spreads. You can get like a magnum, which is more powerful, and a bomb, which when you get hit, it kills everything on screen so you don't die. So that's really good. I didn't know about that. He helped me with that. So thank you, gentlemen, for telling me about this game. Very fun. I actually played through, I think, 2 loops of it. Maybe 1 loop once I learned. Very great, very fun, addictive game. You kind of shoot at a diagonal, so the B button will shoot left, the A button will shoot right, and then B and A together will shoot straight. So you're constantly like positioning yourself and shooting at different angles. So it's very cool because you can't shoot backwards and stuff will come behind, so you want to kind of like maneuver constantly. The soundtrack's pretty brief but good, and it's an old Capcom game with that grid kind of art with the laser 19 laser art in the back, 98 laser art. And there's 2 different covers. I think I got the first cover, I'm not sure. There's another cover of Gun.Smoke. So this is the original seal. I think there's another cover. I don't know if it's the oval seal, but this is the regular circle seal, the black seal. So, and this is a 3-screw. So I don't know if that means a difference of if the other cover is just 5-screw or what. But yeah, Gun.Smoke is surprisingly good. Really like it. I'm amazed. I keep finding great NES games. That's why the NES is so. It's just amazing the games I keep finding on the NES that are just fun to play. Like that game, I never played it growing up, and it's really, really addictive. I couldn't stop playing it. And next I went on a little DS kind of kick, starting with Ninja Gaiden Shadow Dragon. I love Ninja Gaiden on NES 1, 2, and 3. Some of the best games on the system. Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. I got an Xbox 360 for the second one. I really have fond memories of Ninja Gaiden on Xbox. I played with a friend back around 2004 and 5. But I never played Dragon Sword. This is the touch control Ninja Gaiden, and you think, oh, that doesn't sound good, but you play it like, it works surprisingly well. You play as with your 3DS like in a book style. So, I have a 3DS here, so you play like, if your 3DS is like this, like here's your screen, you like play it actually like sideways, so your screens are on the left and right, and it sounds kind of weird, but it works very well. You have a touch screen to like your jumps and your rolls and your different attacks. You can do combos. You go through and you get different MacGuffins like dragon orbs or something, and it's surprisingly addictive. And once I started playing it, I couldn't stop it. You don't hear a lot of people talk about this game, but it's Ninja Gaiden. It feels like Ninja Gaiden. It has great graphics. It plays very well, very smooth. Cutscenes. It's very addictive once you get into it with a touchscreen. You can slash for a straight strike, up and down for a vertical slash. It works surprisingly well. I can't recommend it enough if you can find it and you like Ninja Gaiden and you haven't played it. I think it has better touch controls than the Zelda, Phantom Hourglass, and Wind Waker, and Spirit Tracks. It's not too overly difficult. It does unlock a different difficulty mode and some unlocks when you beat it. But there are parts where you'll have to try a few times, but it's nothing as bad as like Ninja Gaiden on Xbox or Ninja Gaiden 2. Surprisingly good. Made by Igarashi, Tecmo. You've never seen a game on a DS that looks like this. There you go. That's Ninja Gaiden on Dragon Sword on the what do you call it? The DS. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Next up we have Gianna Sisters. Man, I hope I'm not getting a cold. I'm like sniffing. Gianna Sisters DS on the Nintendo DS. For those who don't know, Gianna Sisters is an Amiga computer ripoff of the Super Mario Brothers. Instead of Mario Brothers, you have Gianna Sisters. Explore over 80 levels. And basically think Super Mario Brothers, but instead of mushrooms, you get like jewels to make yourself bigger, I think. You jump, there's blocks you hit, there's enemies, you stomp on enemies, you get jewels instead of coins, there's fire pits. It's basically Mario Brothers with Gianna girls instead. The run and jump call classic from the 80s is back. Gianna Sisters returns. Get ready for a biggest adventure ever on the brave and fantastic dream world. Search for lost diamonds. Yeah, take a board of a menacing enemies on Gianna and makes her way through 80 plus levels, unleashing a mighty arsenal of power-ups along the way. And there you go. And that's Gianna Sisters. I can show you the little, if you're curious. which of course you are. They don't really have a screenshot, but here's some art. Here's some art in the back. And there's also like Twisted Dreams on the Wii U I played, which you can like warp kind of time between Punk Girl and non-Punk Girl. And it's okay. I think I like that one better than this one. This one's basically a basic hop and bop platformer. Next up we have Mega Man ZX, a Mega Man game where you don't play as Mega Man, you don't play as Zero, you play like as the lost kind of robot souls of Mega Man and Zero, and when you collect them, you can switch between their abilities like on the fly. You're like a courier, you start out with another girl, and you something goes wrong and you get the powers of Zero, and then you get the powers of Mega Man X, and you can switch between them. And it's like a exploration adventure platformer game, like a Metroid, where there's gated areas that you go on the map and you can get through. Once you beat a boss, you get their powers and you can switch between them. The game's okay. There's some things that they could have did better, like the map is terrible. I think the difficulty is a little unbalanced. There's parts where you have to go through a whole level and beat a boss, and if you die, you lose a lot of progress. It's a little too talky for my taste, and the story I couldn't really care less. There's a lot of cutscenes, and it's just... but it is an extension of the Mega Man X games into a more adventure-based Metroid kind of style of game. It's just, I think it could have been better. There is a sequel, which I don't know if it improves upon, but it looks amazing. I think Inti Creates did it, who did the Azure Striker Gun Gold games. They did Mega Man 9 and 10. It could have been better. It's fine. Next we have Monster Tale, another exploration adventure platformer. The next great DS game, apparently. So you play as a guy who has this little pet monster, and you're in gated areas, and you find like food and items for them, and according to their personality you give them those on the bottom screen. They'll go down on the bottom screen and eat it, and according to their personality they'll level up when they get, like if one likes sports and you give them basketballs, they'll level up faster, I think, and then they'll evolve into different levels, and they'll start real small and then they'll evolve into different levels. And on the bottom of the screen you can see the tree, like not all at all times, but you can see like their evolution, and they get different skills and stuff. And like bosses will attack on the bottom screen, and you have to move your guy down there and he attacks. And so it's like a Metroid game again, where there's gated parts. Platformer. It's kind of unique. You use the second screen, you evolve your little monster buddy who's always with you, and they have different forms. And you go through to different areas. It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's pretty good. You can see on the back there's a little... See that dragon going down on the bottom of the screen, and then you can see like the items on the bottom where you feed him and he'll evolve. And it says, raise your monster to be the ultimate weapon. Trapped in a strange and dangerous world, Ellie's only hope of escape is a newly hatched monster named Chomp. Develop Chomp into a formidable fighter with a huge range of abilities, then team up to battle monsters enslaved by the menacing Kid King bosses. Embark on an epic adventure with this ever-evolving duo as the action-packed Monster Tales begins. Power up Chomp into 30 unique forms with special skills and abilities needed to defeat more challenging enemies. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's a decent Metroid game. Adventure platformer, I'm going to say. And last, for the month of... what is this? June and July. On my DS, I beat Metroid Prime Hunters, the only of the Prime games I didn't beat. This is more of a shooter action game than a Metroid game. It has a feel of Metroid Prime, but kind of obviously shrunk down onto the DS. You use touch controls to shoot and such. But there's not a lot of backtracking or exploring for different items. There are, I think, energy tanks you can increase and missile, but it needs more. It needed more Metroid. Oh, I'm in a world I can explore, and less. Oh, just go to a room, kill all the enemies, go out, go to a world, beat a boss, go exit and such. And the bosses are kind of slimmer. They're like these cores you beat. The boss variety is not very good, and there's not enough exploration for my liking. It's basically go to one place, beat one of the similar bosses, and come back. It's an early DS game, and it looks pretty good. It controls fine once you get used to it. But I was just wanted more Metroid in my Metroid. Much the same problem I had with Federation Force, although a fine game, it just didn't feel Metroidy enough for me. Single player mode, uncover the mysteries behind the Hunters, quest for ultimate power to the action-packed single player mode. It had a multiplayer like Wi-Fi mode, but I didn't have this game when it was out to test it, so that's that. Yeah, that's everything I did for the months of June and July 2022. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll try Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword if you ever get a chance. Oh, and Wizards and Warriors. If I could pick 2 games to try for this month, it'd be Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword and Wizards and Warriors. Oh, or Gun.Smoke too. Gun.Smoke's good. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.